Hello. I'm going to do this video to show how to change the engine coolant on an NT700V. The changing of the engine coolant is a pretty straightforward process. Probably the most difficult part of it, or the part that gives people the most anxiety, is taking off all the bodywork. So what I'm going to do is show you how to take off all the bodywork that needs to come off, and then show how to drain and then refill the engine coolant. So the first thing that needs to happen is you need to start taking off a few items. So the first thing that comes off is the seat, which I've already taken off. I've actually got another video that shows how to remove the seat, the tank rubber that goes here, as well as the middle cowl, which is here, and then the pockets up here. So I've got a video that already does those, so I'm not going to go over those again. But once you get those off, there's a few other things that have to go off on the bike. And we'll come over here on this side. And the things that need to come off are this front lower piece that's held on by these two screws, a screw here, and a screw over here. And I'll show you how that goes on. And the other thing we have to do is you have to take off the dash surround. That's probably the most difficult piece to take off. It's only held on by two screws, but several little pins hold it on, and those things don't like to let go. So it takes a little bit of effort to pull those free. And the next thing you have to do is you have to take this cowl piece, the upper cowling, off. So for whatever reason, Honda decided to cover the radiator cap with this cowl. So you got to take the cowl off in order to get access to the radiator cap. Take off the radiator cap. To take off this upper cowl, it's pretty straightforward. There's just a few bolts. There's a bolt here, one here, one there, and there's one up front. So let me go ahead and show you the cowl piece that goes here, and so you can sort of see the various pins that require that to come off. So here we are. So that basically fits right up in there like that. And so you can see the two screws, one screw there, one screw there, and then you got the two screws on the side. And you can see the pins on the back there that hold this piece on. Little piece right here. And then there's another one on that side as well. And there's a pin right there in the center that fits in. That fits into this slot right here. So you take off these two screws, take off that screw, take out that screw, and that basically just pulls straight out. That one's pretty easy to get out. The next piece you need to take off is this surround on the dash. So let me get that for you. Go ahead and put this back. So here's the dash surround. It basically sits in here like that. Now the reason we have to take this dash surround off is because there is a screw right here that holds the upper cowling on. And you've got to take that screw off in order to get the cowling off. In order to get to that screw, you have to take this off. So you can see this one is held on with several pins here. You can see those or not. And those fit into these slots here. So after you take these two screws out, you basically have to pull this piece here. Fits in there like that. You sort of have to pry this out and then you're just sort of pulling and tugging on this to get this freed. And I find that this area right through here is the most difficult to pull out. I'm not sure why it latches on so tightly, but it's a real son of a gun to get out. So you just got to keep on pulling and pulling until eventually it comes off. You're not likely to break anything. I'd say pull at the point where you think you're going to break something, and pull a little harder. So a little bit of bravery and this piece comes out. So let me give you a good shot, if I can, of the back side of this so you can get a good idea of what sort of holds it on. So you can see there's a little catch there. There's one in the corner here. There's 3 along this edge. See those? There's 1 at the top, right there. And then same on the sides here. And that's all that holds it in. So once you have that free, then you need to remove the mirror. The mirror is held on by 2 T35 Torx. Those just unscrew and the whole mount and the whole mirror comes off. That's pretty easy. Once you have those items off, the next thing you need to remove is the engine guard cover. So if we look at the engine guard cover right here, it is held on by a single screw on the back side. Fits on like that. So you take the screw off, which is located on the bottom side. You can see the screw right there. Once you take that screw out, just pinch the cover down. That releases those tabs and you can pull it straight out. That's important because it gives you access to a bolt that goes right there. And you need to take, that bolt has to come off in order for this fairing to come out. Okay, so what's holding on this fairing? So after we've got those off, we undo this screw. We undo this bolt here. Undo this bolt. Undo that bolt. There's a bolt that goes right there. And then this little black piece has a push pin on the back side of it. See if I can pull this out. So it looks like that. And that's just on the back side of this piece here. So what you got to do is just reach your hand around and sort of pull the top part of that pin out, and then the head of it out, and that'll allow the whole pin to come out. And it comes in on the back side, kind of like that. So I put them back in there so I don't lose them. And the next thing you have to remove are 2 more push pins. There's 1 push pin here, so let's look on the other side. So I don't know if you can see it up here, right where my finger is. There's a push pin there, and there's a push pin right there. So those 2 push pins hold this inner fairing to the outer upper fairing. So once those are removed, the entire fairing will come off. So I'm just going to undo this screw here. Put this over here. I'll lose my screws. You need to disconnect the turn signal right here. Very simple pin or plug. Fits in there like that. And so all you have to do is just lift up on this pin. So you just sort of pry up. Take your fingernail and you pry up on this piece right here, and then it pulls right out. And pull. this piece out. Sometimes these nuts come out with the little metal washer that's in there. Just don't lose them. Once that's out, there's just a couple of pins along this front side that hold the fairing, upper fairing to the windshield upper section there. And you just sort of pulls right off. So you can see where there's one section there and then one little there. Let me fit this on the back side here so you can sort of see. So here's the one push pin I was telling you about. And there's the other push pin. And I go ahead and put all the parts back in. This piece here held on, goes right there, same place there. And that holds on that front section that we just took off that goes here. So you can see there's a pin there, little tab there, little tabs here. That's basically it though. It comes off really easy. And once that's off, you have really good access to the coolant bottle and the radiator cap. So I'm going to go ahead and put this aside. And like I said, I go ahead and put my my bolts all back in to locations where I'd taken, so I don't lose them. Now you'll notice here I've removed this bolt that goes here. It's actually this bolt here. Your bolt will be in there like that. And I've removed that to allow me, because I use a tool to actually pull a vacuum on the cooling system and then suck the radiator fluid, new radiator fluid into the engine. And in order to do that, I need to have a little bit of play. I need to get this tool into the top of this. So I release this bolt here to allow me to pull this out of the way a little bit. You won't need to do that if you don't use this particular U-view tool that I use. It's not particularly necessary for the NT. The NT is a pretty simple cooling system. On my Goldwing, it has a split radiator system, so it traps a lot of air when you're pouring. If you just pour the fluid directly into the radiator cap, and this tool basically eliminates all the air pockets, so you don't have to, once you fill it up, you don't have to start the engine up and blip the throttle a little bit to try to get the air bubbles out. So it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit definitely more simple for the Goldwing. Probably doesn't add you a whole bunch on the NT. So we also have access to the reservoir, so we'll be emptying that. And then to drain the fluid on the NT, the drain is over here on the side of the water pump. And the water pump is, the base of the water pump is right there. And you want that bolt right there. That bolt is your drain bolt. And so what we'll do is I've got the bike on the center stand right now. I'm going to put it on the side stand, and then I will undo that bolt and we'll drain out the coolant. So let me get it off the center stand and then we'll get to draining it.